While the ancient history of golf is murky, obviously games where players whack an object with a stick in order to convey that object to a target are nearly universal. There are several early games that are arguably the ancestor to what we now refer to as golf. Now, the oldest claim to a golf precursor, according to repeated internet sources, was the Roman game Paganica, and this claim is usually repeated verbatim as, quote, some historians trace the sport back to the Roman game of Paganica, in which participants used a bent stick to hit a stuffed leather ball. One theory asserts that Paganica spread throughout Europe as the Romans conquered most of the continent during the 1st century BC, and eventually evolved into the modern game, end quotes. And this comes from ye olde Encyclopedia Britannica. Now, there's several problems with this claim. A little bit of digging reveals that the historical record came from the book Gallus, or Roman Scenes at the time of Augustus, which was written not by the 1st century BC poet Cornelius Gallus, but by a 19th century German archaeologist Wilhelm Becker. And while Becker's biography of Gallus provides an insight into Roman life, its usefulness as even a secondary historical source is problematic. Now, others cite the Chinese game Cui Wan, Cui meaning striking and Wan meaning small ball, as the ancestor of modern-day golf. And this was played between the 8th and 14th centuries. Now, the book Dongxuan Lu, written by Wei Tai in the 12th century, describes how a southern Tang official taught his daughter how to dig holes in the ground and drive a ball into them. Likewise, a Ming Dynasty scroll by the artist Yo Kui dating back to 1368, entitled The Autumn Banquet, depicts members of the Chinese imperial court swinging what appears to be a golf club at a small ball with the aim of sinking that into a hole. Now, the rules for Cui Wan were remarkably similar to modern golf, in that players used restricted number of clubs, up to 10 in Cui Wan and 14 in golf. The holes were spread on terrains of varying difficulty, and they were marked by colored flags, and there was also a strict code of etiquette and rules in regards to play. Cui Wan balls, however, were wooden and made of different sizes. Now, in the Qing dynasty, the game of Cui Wan steadily declined, and it eventually became a casual game for women and children. Though several Chinese scholars posit the idea that the game traveled westward over the Silk Road or with the Mongols to Europe. The most likely direct descendant of modern golf is the Dutch game of golf, which appeared in the 1200s. And by 1300, Dutch citizens were playing a formalized game where people hit a leather ball with a stick, attempting to hit that ball into a target several hundred yards away. The Dutch played golf year-round. During the spring, summer, and fall, it was played in fields, and in the winter, it was played on ice with the same rules. Now, this scene in the margins of a late 13th century manuscript depicts a game with clubs and balls, possibly the game of golf, referred to by Jacob von Merland, and it's considered to be the earliest known depiction of golf-like game in Europe. In 1360, the Council of Brussels banned the game of golf with the edict, "He who plays at golf pays a fine of 20 shillings, or his overcoat will be confiscated." This is the first of several attempts to outlaw the game, which was seen as a waste of time, something which modern golf players can still relate to. On December 10th of 1659, the ruler passed an ordinance against playing golf in the streets of the same city. Now, a scene from the golf book, circa 1540, shows a game with similarities to modern-day golf. For example, knocking a ball down a hole with a crooked-headed club. Now, in December of 1650, the settlers of Fort Orange, near present-day Albany, New York, played the first recorded round of golf in America. On Monday of December of that year, a party of men came to the house of Stephen Yance to drink after having played a round of golf for brandy. The loser of the game was supposed to buy drinks from the tavern keeper's wife, Maria, and Tunis Yance, sailmaker, accused Maria of knocking 2 strokes off his opponent's tally. This led to a fight between the tavern keeper, Stephen Yance, and one of the players, Philip Peters Laudemacher, with other players joining in. And when the dust finally settled, both Yance and one of the players lay dying. To demonstrate their civility, however, all of the involved, including the mortally wounded men, apologized to each other. On December 10th of 1659, the commissioner of Fort Orange and the village of Beverwyck, today the city of Albany, having heard diverse complaints from the burghers of this place against playing at golf along the streets, which causes great damage to the windows of the houses and exposes people to the danger of being wounded, and is contrary to the freedom of the streets. Therefore, their worships, wishing to prevent the game, forbid all players playing golf in the streets, on pain of forfeiting 25 guilders for each person who shall be found doing so. Now, the first documented mention of golf in Scotland appears in the 1457 Act of the Scottish Parliament, and an edict issued by King James II of Scotland prohibited the playing of the game of golf or football, as they were a distraction from archery practice for military purposes. Now, these bans were again imposed in the Acts of 1471 and 1491, with golf being described as an unprofitable sport. Golf was banned again by the Parliament under King James IV of Scotland. However, golf clubs and balls were brought to him in 1502 when he was visiting Perth, as well as on subsequent occasions when he was at St Andrews in Edinburgh. And golf quickly became associated with Scotland, with Musselburgh Links being the oldest known golf course in the world. It was said that Mary, Queen of Scots, was playing there in 1567. George Buchanan wrote that she had been following her usual amusements in the adjoining fields that were plainly not adapted to women. This also drew criticism, as she was supposed to be in mourning for her murdered husband, Lord Darnley, but instead chose to hit the links. Now, Box of Golf was published in 2003 by Box of Golf Incorporated, and it was designed by Stephen Barry and Robert Labrie, and it was noted for its beautiful components, including a wooden box and painted miniature golfers. While it's been out of print for years, it's available fairly cheaply on the used market. Now, to set the game up, each player selects 4 gems, one of each color, blue, green, yellow, and red, and the remaining gems are set aside. Now, in the physical game, you use miniatures, but in the Vassal Module, each player will select a golf tee to represent their ball on the board, and these are placed on the tee box at the first hole. Players then choose a play order for the first hole amongst themselves. However, on every hole thereafter, the players will go in order of who had the least number of strokes on the previous hole. In the case of ties, players will have to choose amongst themselves on who will get to go before others. Now, players then choose their club, and this is simply deciding on the number of dice, from 1 to 5, that they wish to roll. Now, once this number is chosen, it can't be changed during the player's turn or stroke, though it can in later strokes. And each stroke consists of up to 3 rolls of the chosen set of dice. The object is to accumulate a group of the same color die, which equals the number of spaces that a player can move. Now, note that spaces consist of symbols like golf balls, stars, and arrows. The empty round circles are just directional guides, and they don't constitute a space. In the game, the red, green, blue, and yellow faces on the die are all equal, and while they don't equate with each other, they do equate as one movement for each of these die that's rolled in a set. Now, during a roll, you set the most numerous colored numbers aside, and these will generally not be re-rolled. In subsequent rolls, if the dice of a certain color outnumber the dice of a previously rolled color, you place the newer higher set aside and place the earlier color back in the rollable dice pool. Now, the purple face is a wild card, and each one represents a movement of 1, and they're immediately pulled aside and joined with most numerous die color rolled and can't be re-rolled. Now, black dice are divots, and they're immediately set aside when they're rolled, and they don't add to any movement on the player's stroke, and they cannot be re-rolled. Now, if the player is satisfied with their die roll, they can stop rolling after either the first, second, or third roll. They add up the most numerous colored die, and then they add any purple die. And this total is the number of symbols that they can move their tee towards the green. Now, this is the basics of the game. However, there are a number of items on the golf hole that add minor complications to the player. First, in the beginning of each hole, players drive their balls off the tee. And when they're making this roll, the black divot die are not set aside. And while they can never contribute to movement, they can be re-rolled. In all further strokes for the hole, they act normally, and they're removed from play when they're rolled. Now, the red arrows indicate hills, and if a ball ends the stroke on a red arrow, the ball's moved to the next space that the arrow points to. The stars indicate a great shot, and if a player lands there, they gain 2 benefits. First, they gain 1 gem of their choice, and second, on their next turn, they can roll a die as if they were teeing off. Thus, black divots can be re-rolled, and they don't count against the overall roll. Now, if the ball's driven through trees, which are indicated by a small die by the symbol, the player immediately rolls 1 die. And if the result of black die, the ball doesn't move any further that stroke. If it's anything else, the ball continues as normal. Now, if you're hitting from a tree space, 1 space must be subtracted from the final roll. That is, a 4-of-a-kind roll is reduced to a 3-of-a-kind roll, etc. Now, there's no need to roll the tree test if you're hitting from the tree, as the player's not attempting to go over it. And it's important you must take the tree test before playing a blue wind gem, and players may not play a blue gem after a failed tree test. Now, hitting from the rough, which are spaces that are darker green areas, is handled the same way as hitting from trees. Essentially, 1 die is subtracted from the final roll. If the ball ends in a bunker or a sand trap, the wilds don't count. Purple dies effectively become just like the divot die, and they don't contribute to movement, and they can't be re-rolled. Now, if a shot lands in water, the player immediately takes a 1-shot penalty, and they move their ball to the closest dry land not near the hole. And if the closest dry land's an arrow, the ball ends movement on that arrow. In other words, it can't keep rolling. Now, when the players approach the green, there are 3 different things that can happen. In most cases, they'll get the ball on the green. And if they're lucky, they'll get a natural, which places them in an even better position in relationship to the hole. However, on greens 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 14, 16, 17, and 18, they can also overshoot the green and will have to make another attempt to get on the green in the next stroke. Now, in a hole where an overshoot isn't possible, any roll equal to or higher than that needed to complete the movement puts the player on the green. They move their ball to the putting start box on the enlarged green, and they begin putting on their next stroke. Now, if the player lands a shot exactly on the green without using gems, arrows, or any wild die, they've scored a natural. They then roll their 5 die once and move their ball one step closer to the hole for each purple that they roll. If they roll no purple die, they still get to move their ball one step ahead. Now, if a player rolls higher than the movement needed on an overshot hole, they move their ball that number of spaces up to the overshot limit. On the next stroke, they can potentially overshoot the hole in the original direction that they came in on. Once on the green, putting's carried out in the same way as hitting the ball on the fairway. Some greens have a putting overshot while others do not, and like normal shots, if there's no overshot, the player simply has to roll equal to or higher than that needed to complete the movement to put the ball in the hole. Now, putting overshots can occur on holes 1, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, and 18, and these are handled in exactly the same way as overshooting the green. Now, once a player sinks their ball in the hole, they count the number of strokes that it took on the hole, they note this number on the score sheet, and they take one gem of their choice for every stroke under par that they were on the hole. However, if a player is over par, they don't lose any gems. The player with the lowest score for that hole is also rewarded an additional 2 gems, and tied for the lowest score on a hole are rewarded with 1 gem for each player. Players then place the next hole's card down, and at the start of each new hole, each player should have a minimum of 4 gems. If they don't, they take an appropriate number of gems from the box at random. Now, gems can provide certain benefits to play. They're always played after the player has completed their die roll, but before they move their ball. And the player's free to choose to play any gem that they have in stock, though only one can be played per turn, except for the case of a mulligan. The blue gem represents a favorable gust of wind, and a player can use a blue gem to add or subtract 1 space from their shot. Now, blue gems cannot be used on putting surfaces. Also, blue gems may not be used after having landed on an arrow or after having failed a tree test. Now, the green gem is a gimme. A green gem will redirect any missed putt into the hole, in essence making a putt that missed into a putt that did not miss, and play a green gem only after having missed the cup with a putt on the putting surface. The yellow gem represents a backspin, and backspin assists any shot landing on the green to continue moving closer to the flag, or if lucky, maybe right into the cup. You do this just as I mentioned above. You roll all 5 of the die one time only, and you count the number of purple wild die you get, and move your tee this number of spaces towards the hole. And in the case of backspins, players always get to move a minimum of 1 space. Finally, the red gem represents a mulligan. Playing a mulligan allows a redo or do-over of an entire turn, and you may take as many redos as you have red gems. However, mulligans are not allowed when playing on the putting surface. Now, a single blue, green, or yellow gem can also be played in the same turn as a mulligan. Now, after all golfers have completed either 9 or 18 holes, each player counts up his or her gems, and no color has more value than any other. Basically, the player with the most gems wins. Hey folks, I'm back with a box of Golf this week. So it's a kind of interesting little game that came out about 20 years ago. I always liked this game. It came in a really nice little box, little wooden box with some little miniatures in it, which is kind of cool. You can still get this on eBay and on the secondhand market for $20-30, and it's worth checking out if you're into golf type games. It's not as great a game as some of the other Avalon Hill games and some of the other games that came later, but it's still kind of fun to play, and it's particularly better with the physical box of Golf over the Vassal Module. But since I kind of like using the Vassal Module to show these games off, it's a lot easier on video production, so that's what we'll be using today. Anyway, we're going to play the first 9 holes. We'll play out, and our 2 golfers are going to be blue and red. So we've got hole 1 here. I've got the dice board here, and gems here, and then the box of Golf scorecard right here. So we got everything ready to go. So we're ready to go. Not quite sure why they have the save up here. I go ahead and just throw any blacks up here, and then throw the color die and the purple die down here in the keep. So we'll let red go first, and we roll, and we'll save the green ones, and the purples will go down here. Now, because this is a we're off the tee, the black won't count, so we can re-roll it, and that's our 2 and our 3 in. So basically, red had 3. Now, I could try to gust a wind at one more, but since it's on a little bit of a hill here, it'd just roll back anyway, so it's not going to help me any. Okay, so that's red's first shot and her first stroke. And I'm keeping track on I've got a little cheat sheet here that I'm keeping track of strokes on, so. Okay, blue will go. Oh, blue got 3 purple and 2 black, and so we can re-roll those blacks since we're off the tee. And we have to keep one of these. I'll just keep blue since we are blue. And oh wow, so blue has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think I'm going to go ahead and use a gem. We're going to use a blue gem to have that wind gust. And we'll change that to 0. And use that blue gem for a wind gust and send it right here. Now we'll be driving out of the trees, but that's okay. Okay, red will go again. And now then we'll just save the green. We'll roll this a second time. Okay, so red's going to go 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It'll put him in the bunker, but we've got to see if the trees stop him. And they do. Okay, so the trees stop red. And that was red's second stroke. Okay, blue will go. Now, blue's shooting out of the trees, and so they need 1, 2, and 3. But we lose 1 die, so we're gonna need at least a 4. So let's roll all 5. Okay, we'll keep these 3. Roll this a second time, and that would be 4. 1, 2, 3, and then -1 is 4. So if we leave it like this, we'll end up with a natural, and we'll end up on the green. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That's kind of advantageous because we can roll again and see if we advance on the green. And we do roll 1, so we started here. This is where we'd start on the putt, and then we can go forward 1 because we got 1 purple. Okay, that's the second. Now, this is a par 4, so blue may actually shoot under par on this. Okay, red's going to go. Again, I think we'll roll them all. Okay, now we throw those away now because we're actually on the fairway. And so this is the only thing we have left is the 3. So that would be 3 spaces, but since we're shooting from under the tree, that gives us 2. So we end up in the bunker for our third stroke. And blue, now blue's got to be careful here. They need at least 3 and can't overshoot. So I think I'll go ahead and try 4. And we'll hold this aside. Roll. And the blacks we lose, so we only get 2. And now red's going to try to blast out of the bunker. We really just need to get at least a 1 and not a purple. So let's try that. Let's just roll the 1. Actually, I'm going to roll 2 here. Roll. Okay, and that gives us the 1, which is not a purple, which is okay. And that'll give us our natural. And then we can, since we had a natural, we can roll these to see if we advance any further on the green. And we do. We advance 1. Okay, that's the 4th. And then blue, all blue has to do is roll 1, and that should get him in the hole, as long as it's not black. And there we go, and that sinks it. So now red's going to go 1, 2, 3. I think I'll roll 4. and that doesn't count. And we can re-roll this one. 3. Okay, so we just made it one more. And now red will try again. I think we'll try with these 3. Oh, shoot. So that would take us past over here because we had 3. 1, 2, 3. And I think it's time for a gimme. And the gimmies are the, let's see, gimmies are green. So red's going to spend a gimme versus knocking it back and forth. Have you ever done that on a putting green? So that'll give me a 6 and a 4, I think. I have a hard time playing this and keeping track of stuff is sometimes where I have a hard time. Okay, 4. Okay, so blue shot the lowest on that hole, so blue gets 2 gems, and we're going to change the label to, I'm going to bring back one of these, and let's give myself another gust of wind. And then red would normally not get any gems, but they have to have 4 gems going into the next hole, so we're going to change this up to 1. And we move to hole 2. Now blue gets honors, gets to shoot first, and this is a par 4. We'll pull out our driver, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 2, and 3. Okay, that'd be 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. Keeps us on the fairway. And now red gets to go. And red gets 3 yellows. And there's 4. And they're also on the fairway. Yeah, blue gets to go. I wish there was maybe a little better selection method where you could get something that would correspond with the club, but that's okay. We'll keep this one. And now, the black one we don't keep now because we're driving off the fairway instead of the tee, so leaves us this one and this one. Okay, so we had 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4 puts us in the rough here. But we've got to get over the trees. Let's see if we do. If it's black, we don't. Yep, we do fine. So we make it over here to the rough. And red goes. We can save these 3. We got to get rid of the black. And we roll this one. And we get a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, same place. We roll to see if the trees get in the way. They don't, so we're good there. Okay, both have made a shot of 2. Now, green gets to go, blue gets to go. They've got to get at least a 2. They're actually going to have to get 3 because they're shooting from the rough. So you can't overshoot on this hole. So we might as well just hit it with everything we've got. And then stop when we get a natural. Okay. Pull that. 2. So we got a 3, but we actually have a 2. That works. That puts us on the green. So we see it with a natural. So, and that'll get us ahead by 2 on the green. So we can go here and then 1, 2, because we got 2 purples. Okay, red's going to go. Same situation. Doesn't hurt to hit him with all. And those, and then the black we wouldn't use, and then we can roll this 2, 3. And so basically they roll 1 and it rolls right back. Okay, blue's gonna go. Blue can hit it with all they've got because they can't overshoot the hole, so, and that's enough, so that will sink it. Now red gets to go. And that's all I need. Because I can pull back 1 and that would give 2. So 1, 2 and give us a natural. Then we can see how far we advance on the green. And we advance 2. And that was for our 4th stroke. Okay, for our 5th stroke, I've got to just have 2. Can't overshoot, so we can just go here and the blacks don't count, but these 2 do. 1 and 2. Nothing. So that just put us ahead 1. Red's not doing too well. And pretty much anything's going to sink it. So 5 and 4. Red had 5. And green had 4. Maybe red had 6. Nope, I think they had 5. Okay, they may have had 6. That's okay. We're not playing for points that way, so we're okay. We kind of know who won. So again, blue gets 2. And we can move on to hole 3. Blue has honors, so blue's going to roll first. And we have 1, 2, 3. And that's our second roll, and our third roll, nothing. So 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I will definitely take the gust to win this time. So blue's going to change that back to 1, use a gem, and give me 5. And that means I can take advantage of the good lie next turn. So blue has 1. Let's set up red. One, 2, 3. Okay, so in this case there was 3 more yellows, so we can use these 3 yellows. 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna get it in the rough over the water hazard, so I'll use a blue gem, and that'll put me here. Now it's time for blue to go. Now blue, since blue's shooting from a good lie or the star, it's basically just like teeing off. We can ignore the black rolls, which is a good thing. 2, 3. So we can re-roll these. If I wasn't on the good lie, that would be it for that for those rolls. But I still have 2 more rolls now. 1. Okay. Perfect. Come on down here. So 5. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see if I make it through the trees. I do, and I'm going to go ahead and use another little bit of a breeze here. Wait, I can't use a bit of a breeze more than once per hole. I'm sorry. The only one I can reuse is the mulligan. Okay, red, I think that's how it plays out, but red goes and just gets 2, plunk, right in the water. So red's going to take a 1-stroke penalty and move back. At least I got the good lie now. So red's got 3 strokes now. Blue can't overshoot, so we're going to try to get a natural. I guess all I need to do is roll anything but a black, and I do, and it lands on the green. And we roll these, and we have 1 purple, so that puts us ahead 1 on there. And this is a par 5. Okay, now it's red's turn. And now red's got 2 greens we're going to keep. Hopefully you understand where I'm just putting these here. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Whack in the trees. Now blue's going. And we have 2. We'll roll again. Third roll. Okay, and that sinks it. Plop. Okay, now we're going to have red go, and red has 3. And they're taking off 1 because they're shooting out of the trees, so that would give them the natural at that point. And now let's roll to see how we lie on the green. Okay, we got to hit 1 purple. Now we got to put it in 1 and out there, and this re-rolls 2 and 3. Okay, so 3, and then basically that's 6. We roll 1 more time, and that sinks it. So 7 and 4. Red golfs like I do. I'm a terrible golfer. I'm not a huge. It's funny because I'm not that big of a golf fan. Although I do like the golf. I like sports games. It's funny because I'm not a big sports fan, but I do enjoy a lot of tabletop sports games quite a bit. Particularly baseball games. I think baseball in real life is really boring, but okay. Blue gets 2 more gems. Oops, change that to 2 and 2. And again, you're not winning by strokes, you're winning by gems collected, so good to remember. Okay, blue's got honors again. Red just can't seem to catch a break. Maybe I'm biasing towards somebody. Okay, there's 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can re-roll this because we're off the tee. 2, and that'll do the trick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll take the good lay on that. The good lie. Good lie. Okay, red goes, and we're going to roll them all. Let's take the 2 blue. Here's our second roll. And our third roll. So we hit 3. 1, 2, 3, and I will take a blue. Actually, we need to change this to 1 because you always have to start out with 4 gems. So I'll take the 4. I'll take the 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll take the 4th, the wind, the gem to blow it 1 more. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you need to be sure again that these are, you refill these each time. Okay, now blue's got the good lie. And there's our first one. Our second one. And our third one. So 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now that could, if we don't get hit in the trees, we'll make it to the green. We make it. So and this is a par 3, so we might make it in. Now this was a natural, so we roll them again. 1, 2. Wow, there we go. Okay, that put us close to the pin. Now blue gets to go. I'm not sure whether this counts as a bunker or not. I think it is. It's sand, so I guess we'll call it a bunker. So that means the purples don't count. So we'll go 1. And blacks are 2, 3. Okay, that's going to be 3. And I think I'll take the wind one for red. Actually, this should have been... Nope, wait, we already used it. We already used our wind, so... Basically, okay, so he ended up in the water. No? Hold on. 3. We have 3. 1, 2, 3. Out of a bunker, you don't count the purples. You still have the same normal number of dice used. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, so that puts us in the trees. I had to kind of remember stuff here. Kind of late tonight, so if I get a little discombobulated, hang with me. Hold on a second. What do I want to do? Oh, I'm in 1, so I just have to roll 1. And there we go. And we sunk it. And that's par. Okay. Now, we're firing out of the trees, and I don't think rolling down the hill helps us, but because you can't use symbols to get on the green. So we need at least a 1, 2, and we can roll them all to get our natural. And that will do it. We could just take this one and this one, and that would be 1, 2. That'll give us our natural. And nothing, so it puts us right here. That's our third stroke. Now we are going to roll. Doesn't matter because we just need 2. Well, we'll take the, I guess we'll take blue. 1, and there we go. Even though the 3, it's still less than, we have no place else to go, so it'll sink. 4 to 3. Now we weren't under par, but blue won it, so blue gets 2 gems. And I think I should have taken off a gem here. No, I didn't. I'm sorry. I don't take off a gem there because we were fine. But this guy gets a gem. Okay, hole 5. And blue again. And like I said, hopefully you're seeing how this game's kind of played. If anybody's watching it. These sports games, when I do sports games, they don't get a lot of traction, so. Okay, we can re-roll these because we're off the tee, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of creates an interesting dilemma here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a blue, and I'm going to go 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Puts me in the rough, but that's okay. Okay, red gets to go. There's our 3 we're going to save. 2 and 3. So red goes 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll go through the trees there. Okay, that's first stroke for both sides. Second stroke for blue. And 1, 2, 3. Now we're from the rough, so that's going to be 2. 1 and 2. Let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll stop there. And that puts us on the green, so we can roll to see, and it's a natural. And we got 1, what puts us ahead 1. Okay, this is a par 4, and we may get under par on this one. Now, poor red's got to go. And red. And we're going to, we can, since we're hitting the ball from under the trees, we're -1, so we can take that off. And then we got to see if it goes any further. Oh, okay, it's fine. So it went off full 2, 1 and 2, and it ended up in a bunker. And now blue can overshoot, so I think blue's going to try to use a gimme. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 2. Second roll, third roll. Okay, that's 2. Well, so much for that. And then red's going to try to fire out of the sand trap. It's going to be -1, so basically roll 2 die. And roll it again. And that'll get us out and give us a natural. Okay, since they've got a natural, we're going to see how far we advance. Hey, 2. Okay, and now blue's going to go. And blue, I think I'll just use 1, and hopefully it's not black. There we go, and we sink it. So, well, yeah, we hit par again. And then red's going to go, I think I'll use 3 die. 1, and that's enough. 1, 2. And they hit par too. Okay. 4 and 4. And I think, the one issue I've had playing solitaire games is you don't have somebody to check your work, basically. So you're just kind of trying to figure it as you go along, and especially when you're making a video, because I don't really stop or edit these videos. I just kind of let them go and see how things come out. And sometimes they don't come out right, but that's okay. Let's see here. What do I want? Both sides get 1 gem this time because they're tied up. So we'll change that to 2. And change this to, we'll change this to 3. But hopefully you kind of get an idea. I know sometimes I get people that say they get pretty frustrated because of all the times I go back and you know, they're like, you change stuff all the time. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but again, as I'm playing, I try to keep it according to the rules as best I can. But okay, who's gonna? Well, red hasn't had a chance to go first, and since they're tied up, I think I'll let red go. And we are on hole 6. We're buzzing along here. I think doing 18 holes on this would probably bore most of you guys to tears, but here's my second one. And my third one. Oh, 5. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not going to do me much of an advantage. Wait. But that rolls in the water, which puts you back. This is kind of a weird situation, so it's going to put you back. And, excuse me, I think you just have to take the 1-shot penalty. So we'll make it 2 shots. Blue goes. That's our first roll. Second roll of the stroke, not the shot, the stroke. And does that was my third roll, I think. Let's just redo that one. I was yakking and okay. First roll. We're off the tee, so second roll and third roll. I get 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'll take a gust of wind for blue. So change this label to 2. And red gets to go again. Yeah, actually, you know, I said you can't. I think you can use gems on each stroke you make. I think you can use more than 1 gem on a hole. It's just you can't use 2 gems unless you use a mulligan. That's the only time you could use 2 gems. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that gives us 3, 2. Oh, that's a natural. Hey, nice. So I'm on the green, but it doesn't help, so I get 1 consolation prize. Now, blue's going to go. Can't use this again. Can't use this again. We can use those 2. And 3. Okay, they just get 1. Knocks us down to the water. We move it back out, and so we take another 1-shot penalty. Now, got to be a little careful here. I think I'm going to go ahead and what I'm going to do, I think it would be advantageous to use all of these. Yeah, and that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, but I'm going to go ahead and take a gimme on that because that gives me par at least, and that'll give me probably 2 gems. Easy enough. So we'll take 4, and blue will get to go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, and 4. It won't give me a natural, but it'll put me on the green because I'm 1 over. And this guy's in. And then we're going to try to putt it in. I can't use that again. And so we have 2. And let's see, I think I want to use 3 here. 1, and that, I'll leave it at that, and that gets me 2. So 6-4. Okay. Red gets a gem to bring this to 1. Actually, they get 2 gems, so I'm going to say 1 for him and 2 for, whoops, I'm off 2 for him, and this should have been 1. There we go. I was off a stroke. Okay, hole 7. This time red has honors again. So we gotta knock it over the trees here, knock it over another tree, and then this is try to keep it from overshooting the green. Okay. We can re-roll these and roll. So 3, 1, 2, 3. I could use a gust of wind. And that'll put me at 4. And that was red, not blue. Okay, blue's going to go. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3. 4 is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. That put me there. Yeah, let's see if I fly over them. 1, 2, and I will play a blue. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Puts me right in the bunker. Okay, red's going to go. Again, we have -1. Let's see, we need a 1, 2. We need at least 3. I'll use all 5. 1, okay. 2, 3. And that's going to give me 1 and 2. Natural. Puts me ahead 1. And blue, let's see. We need to just get 1. So just going to roll 1 die. And that puts me on the green as a natural. And puts me ahead 2. Okay, to sink it, basically red needs a 2 or better. And that's enough to sink the ball. So red shot par. Blue needs 2, but we can't overshoot, so let's go ahead and hit it. There we go, 3. So yeah, that'll sink it. So both of them got par. That seems a little high. Did I? Keep thinking that should be more of a, that should probably be a 1. I think I went ahead 2, so again, I'm probably cheating against red here. Let's go to hole, oh, we need to give each side a gem. Okay, we'll let red go honors again. They seem to do better when they get the first shot. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 5. Let's see, that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Yeah, let's use a gem. There we go. Hopefully that'll work better. So we actually get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now blue gets to go. And we have 2 greens. Three greens. And get to go 3. 1, 2, 3, and let's use another blue gem. Blue's well ahead, so they'll put it at 4. Okay, both sides got, and this is a par 5, so this might be a chance to get an extra gem out of the deal. Red's going. Okay, we just have this one to roll. 1, oh wow, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, oh 5, that's a natural. Okay. And yeah, that puts us on the green. Okay, now blue goes. Oh wow, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I can go the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're shooting from the bunker. I think we'll just use 2 die here. And that would get, yeah, that would be my 1. So that'll put me on. And that's a natural. And that puts me at 1 here. Okay. Red will go. And that's my 3 that I need. 1, 2, 3. And that sinks the ball. And that puts me 2 under par. They get an extra gemstone. And we'll do the same with blue. Okay, and then blue needs 2 more. Ah, I should have used more. And we roll here and sink it. So 3, 2, 5. So he was 2 under par. And then I forgot hole 7. 7 was 3 and 3. Both shot par on that. Okay, so red's under par, so they get a gem. I'll just change this to 3. They get 1 gem for being under par, and they get 2 gems for winning the hole. So, and we go to the last hole. We're on the 9th hole. Blue gets honors, or no, red gets honors because red did pretty well. And not bad. Okay, 5. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and take another wind gust. Blue goes. And we will pull these out. Re-roll them. And there we go. So 4. I'm in the rough, but I'll take it. Okay. Red's going to go. Really want to be careful to not overshoot on this. Purples don't count as anything. Let's just roll it and risk it. And I made it. So 1. And if I had the purple, I'd probably take a mulligan and try the shot again. And that put me on the green. We'll see how well we did on the green. Nothing. Okay, so we just go to the first space. And this is par 3. Okay, blue goes. Now blue's going to lose a die because they're hitting from the rough. And we've got 1, 2. Roll 2. Roll 3. Okay, so we just basically get to go 1. Now, I'm going to roll 3 die for red. And there's my 2, so that's all I need. 1, 2, and I sink it with 3. Hit, and then blue's going to go. What am I gonna do here? Let's see. I've got 1, 2. I could overshoot. I really need a 3 to hit it, so I'm gonna go with 4. Roll. 2, 3. I overshot. 1, 2, 3. I should have stopped at the second one, but I don't know why I did that. That was a mistake. Yeah, okay. Now we're from a bunker, so we just need 1 to get on the green. I just want to roll 1 as long as I don't get a purple or a black. Oh, I whiffed the ball. Try it again. Same thing. And there, that puts me on the green, gives me a natural. And that put me at the 1 position. Okay, now I need 2 and no more. Let's try with 3 die. 1. This is just as frustrating as real golf. Okay, now I just need 1. Don't give me a black. There we go, and we sank it with 6 strokes on a par 3. Okay, so red has 3, blue has 6, so red gets 2 gems. There we go. Okay, adding it up, blue has 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 gems, and red has 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, so they basically tied. I think if I wouldn't have cheated probably earlier, they would have, I think blue might have won that, but I kind of got messed up on red. So, okay, that's what I've got. That's Box of Golf. Like I say, I think it's kind of a neat little game. I think it was a good game for, oh wow, that's a 9. I didn't realize the 9th hole was shaped like a 9. Anyway, I think it's a kind of a fun little game. It would be a great little gift for somebody that enjoys golfing a lot, I think. And I think the miniatures are really kind of cool on it. Anyway, that's what I got this week. And like I say, this is probably not one that a lot of people watch, but if you have, thank you very, very much. We'll talk to you later. Bye.